The movie begins with tourists having a great time on a boat, dancing and laughing. The music fills the air, but the fun quickly fades when white smoke starts rising from the sea. A woman nervously looks at the water where her friend had just jumped in, but now he's nowhere to be seen. The sea, once calm, begins to boil like a pot on a hot stove. It's clear that something dangerous is happening, and escape seems impossible. Meanwhile, Derek and his family have arrived at the beautiful island of La Palma in Norway for a relaxing holiday. This island is a popular tourist spot known for its stunning waves and scenic views. The beaches are crowded with people admiring the natural beauty, unaware of the disaster that is about to unfold. In the island's dense forests, a team of geologists, including Mary, is conducting research. Mary's job is to monitor a long-dormant volcano. Though the volcano hasn't erupted in many years, she checks its activity every 2 weeks. During this visit, she notices something strange. Water is leaking from the rocks. Concerned, she collects a sample to test in the lab. While continuing her investigation, Mary finds something unsettling: dead bats scattered on the ground. Her partner checks the air and discovers that the carbon dioxide CO2 levels are dangerously high. When they shine a flashlight on the rocks, they notice a new crack forming in the volcano. At the same time, Varro, the director of the Volcano Research Center, is watching troubling news. 7 people have died in a sudden boat accident near the island. He is worried, but still reluctant to take action. Soon, Mary submits her findings, warning that the volcano is showing signs of waking up and that the island should be evacuated. But Varro is hesitant. He doesn't want to cause panic, especially since it's peak tourist season, and he fears it could ruin the island's economy. He dismisses her concerns, telling her that cracks like these are normal and to just keep monitoring the situation. Mary's partner, however, is deeply worried. He points out that if the cracks on the volcano's edge give way, it could cause a large part of the mountain to fall into the sea, triggering a massive tsunami. Mary agrees that an evacuation is needed, but Varro insists on waiting, reminding her of a past false alarm that devastated the island's tourism. Back at the beach, Derek and his family are enjoying their vacation when they suddenly realize their young son is missing. Panic sets in as they frantically search for him. After a tense search, they find him standing on a rock near the shore, staring at the sea. Thousands of turtles are leaving their nests and heading toward the deep water, which is strange because they've always stayed. Something is definitely wrong, but no one knows exactly what. Meanwhile, Mary is back at the lab testing the water sample and discovers something alarming. There are no minerals in the water, suggesting that it's not coming from underground sources. But where is it coming from? Determined to find answers, she and her partner head back to the volcano. The area is eerily quiet, and they begin to monitor the new cracks and collect more data. As they continue, they find another crack in the volcano's surface. It's small now, but it could grow and cause a disaster. They're setting up monitoring equipment when Mary gets a frantic call from the Geological department. "Mary, leave immediately," the voice says. "The internal temperature is rising fast." Mary and her partner quickly pack their equipment to leave, but as they're about to go, they spot a group of tourists dangerously close to the volcano. Mary runs to warn them, but as she does, the situation worsens. Smoke begins to rise from the volcano, filling the air and making it hard to breathe. They start to leave, but disaster strikes. Mary slips on loose rocks and falls, losing consciousness. When Mary wakes up, she's in a hospital. Everything seems calm, but she has a nagging feeling that this is only the calm before the storm. Varro, sitting outside her room, tries to reassure her. "Mary, don't worry. The smoke was just the volcano releasing some pressure. It's a normal process." But Mary knows better. "Varro, when a volcano releases pressure, it's often a warning of an eruption. It's coming soon." Mary insists they must issue an emergency alert, but Varro hesitates, still haunted by a previous false alarm. He's afraid that causing panic could ruin the island's tourism. An argument breaks out, but the officials side with Varro. They decide to keep monitoring the situation and only report to higher authorities if things get worse. Mary warns that delaying could cost lives, and she calls her younger brother, begging him to leave the island immediately. Back at the volcano, the pressure levels spike. The ground shakes, and cracks form in the rocks. Mary urgently reports this to Varro, who finally activates the emergency plan. But it's too late. At the airport, a plane has just taken off when a huge cloud of smoke and ash erupts from the volcano. The pilot receives an urgent message to turn back, but it's too late. The ash cloud engulfs the plane and the pilot loses control, causing the plane to crash in a fiery explosion. At a nearby hotel, Derek's family is having breakfast when they spot the flaming wreckage of the plane falling from the sky. Chaos erupts across the island as fear spreads. People, including the mayor's secretary, realize that the situation is spiraling out of control. Mary had warned Valor multiple times about the growing cracks in the volcano, which were extremely dangerous. She explained that if a part of the mountain collapses into the sea, it could trigger a massive tsunami. But the mayor and his officials ignored her warnings, trying to avoid causing panic. While everyone else tries to flee the island with their families, Mary decides to stay behind and keep an eye on the volcano. When she returns home, she finds her brother causing trouble after drinking, and the police arrest him. Mary tries to warn the officers about the danger of the volcano, but they dismiss her as spreading rumors and charge her brother with causing a disturbance. Hours later, just as predicted by experts, the volcano calms down. Tourists continue enjoying their vacation, unaware of the looming danger. However, Derek's brother-in-law, who works in the emergency department, senses something is terribly wrong. All flights have been canceled, and he suspects a bigger threat is approaching. He calls his sister and urges Derek to take his family and leave the island immediately. Trusting his brother-in-law, Derek packs up his family and heads out to find a taxi. But the taxis are nowhere to be found. Then Derek spots a van with the driver unloading goods. Without thinking, he puts his family in the van and drives off. After 10 minutes, they reach the port, where a boat is waiting. As Derek starts getting off the van, the driver chases him, demanding money. Derek gets his family on the boat but has to fight the driver for the money. After paying him, Derek is shocked to realize that if he had just walked, he would have reached the port faster and could have caught the boat. Now, with no other choice, Derek plans to take a private boat to find his family. But just as he gets ready, an emergency alert goes off. Waller, noticing the volcano's pressure rising again, issues another warning. By then, many lives have already been lost. Derek learns that all boat operations have been suspended. He nearly loses hope until a local man offers him a seat on his boat. Derek sighs with relief, but before he can board, a loud explosion echoes. The volcano erupts, and chaos spreads across the island. Hearing the blast, Mary's brother rushes to the police station where he frees Mary and some other prisoners. They head to the port, but by the time they arrive, the last boat has already left. Mary meets Derek, who explains he gave his seat to a mother and her child. Mary's brother remembers that he has a private boat hidden on the beach, and they rush there. The boat is still there, but as they open it, a gunshot rings out. They turn to see a released prisoner demanding the boat for his group. Mary's brother tries to disarm the man, but a bullet hits him in the stomach. Derek knows he must act fast to protect his family. He fights the goons with all his strength, knocking them out one by one with a stone. But before he can catch his breath, more goons arrive. Derek quickly pulls Mary away and they run for the boat. Mary starts the engine, and they begin heading out to sea. Meanwhile, Derek's wife and children are also trying to escape. They make it to the island and are lucky enough to catch the last flight. But then, Derek's daughter Sarah calls her best friend at the airport and tells her to take the boarding pass while she runs to find her mother. However, Sarah's mother doesn't see her and goes looking for her, causing both to miss the flight. At the volcano department, the director and his old friend, who was injured in a recent accident, hear the emergency alert. Realizing it's too late to escape, they put on their old suits and head toward the volcano. Standing before the river of lava, the director regrets not acting sooner. His friend offers him a bottle of red wine, and they share one last drink. Suddenly, the ground shakes, and a large part of the mountain collapses into the sea, triggering a massive tsunami. Derek and Mary, who have reached a nearby island, hear the rumbling and realize a tsunami is coming. Mary grabs her binoculars and sees the massive waves. They know the tsunami will destroy everything in its path. Just as panic sets in, Derek gets a message from his brother-in-law, who has found a safe location on another island that could survive the tsunami due to its unique shape. Without wasting time, Derek and Mary race toward that location, but the waves are closing in fast. Derek's wife receives the same message, but when she tries to call Sarah, the network fails. The flight's pilot, realizing the danger, tries to speed up the plane, but the waves overpower it. The plane is swallowed by the ocean. Derek and Mary manage to reach the safe location just in time. Derek's wife and children are also brought to safety by a kind local. As the tsunami waves roar behind them, Derek and Mary race toward the shore. Their boat starts to smoke, and it seems like all hope is lost. But then, Derek sees a huge wave ahead. He quickly turns the boat, and the two waves collide, canceling each other out. Derek and Mary reach the beach and find survivors running in panic. Derek asks about his family, but each answer breaks his heart. Just as hope begins to fade, someone calls his name. He turns around to see his wife and children, miraculously alive. Sarah, who had been on the plane, slowly regained consciousness amidst the wreckage. With her friend's help, she finds a way out and joins the government rescue team. Despite the tragedy, Derek's family is reunited,